Okay, we will discuss today Canto 1, Chapter 8, the Prayers of Queen Kunti, and we will try to cover 2 verses today, 34 and 35. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nastvayesya Bhadrasu Nityam Bharata Sevya Bharavati Uttamaslake Bhakti Bhakti Naistiki Bharavatara Nayanye Bharavatara Nayanye Bhuvonava Ivodado Chidantya Bhurivarena Yatayatma Bhuvakhtita. Word for word translation. Bara Avataranya, just to reduce the burden to the world. Anye, others. Bhuvaha, of the world. Nava, boat. Iva, like. Udada, on the sea. Chityantya, aggrieved. Bhuri, extremely. Bharena, by the burden. Yataha, you were born. He, certainly. Atma Bhuva, by Brahma. Artita, being prayed for. Translation and purport. Vaeshi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. Purport. Brahma, or the first living being born just after the creation, is the direct son of Narayan. Narayan, as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, first of all entered the material universe. Without spiritual contact, matter cannot create. This principle was followed from the very beginning of creation. The Supreme Spirit entered the universe, and the first living being, Brahma, was born on a lotus flower grown out of the transcendental abdomen of Vishnu. Vishnu is therefore known as Atmanab. Brahma is known as Atma Bhu because he was begotten directly without any contact of Mother Lakshmiji. Lakshmiji was present near Narayan, engaged in the service of the Lord, and still without contact with Lakshmiji, Narayan begot Brahma. That is the omnipotency of the Lord. One who foolishly considers Narayan like other living beings should take a lesson from this. Narayan is not an ordinary living being. He is the personality of God himself, and he has all the potencies of all the senses in all parts of his transcendental body. An ordinary living being begets a child by sexual intercourse, and he has no other means to beget a child other than the one designed for him. But Narayan, being omnipotent, is not bound to any condition of energy. He is complete and independent to do anything and everything by his various potencies very easily and perfectly. Brahma is therefore directly the son of the Father and was not put into the womb of a mother. Therefore is known as Atmabhu. This Brahma is in charge of further creations in the universe, secondarily reflected by the potency of the omnipotent. Within the halo of the universe, there is a transcendental planet known as Svetadvip, which is the abode of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Whenever there is trouble in the universe that cannot be solved by the administrative demigods, they approach Brahmaji for a solution. And if it is not to be solved even by Brahmaji, then Brahmaji consults and prays to Kshirodakashayi Vishnu for an incarnation and solution to the problems. Such a problem arose when Kamsa and others were ruling over the earth, and the earth became too overburdened by the misdeeds of the Asuras. Brahmaji, along with other demigods, prayed at the shore of the Kshirodaka ocean, and they were advised of the descent of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So some people say that the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Brahmaji. I will also read the next verse. Bhavesmin Krishyamana Nama Vitya Karma Karma Bihi Shavna Smarana Rani Yarishanitya Itikechana. And yet others say that you appeared for the sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs may take advantage and gain liberation. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asserts that he appears in every millennium just to re-establish the way of religion. The way of religion is made by the Supreme Lord. No one can manufacture a new path of religion, as is the fashion for certain ambitious persons. The factual way of religion is to accept the Lord as the supreme authority and thus render service unto him in spontaneous love. A living being cannot help but render service because he is constitutionally made for that purpose. The only function of the living being is to render service to the Lord. The Lord is great and living beings are subordinate to him. Therefore, the duty of the living being is just to serve him only. Unfortunately, the illusioned living beings, out of misunderstanding only, become servants of the senses by material desire. This desire is called avidya, or nescience. And out of such desire, the living being makes different plans for material enjoyment centered about a perverted sex life. He therefore becomes entangled in the chain of birth and death by transmigrating into different bodies on different planets under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Unless, therefore, one is beyond the boundary of these nescience, one cannot get free from the threefold miseries of material life. That is law of nature. The Lord, however, out of his causeless mercy, because he is more merciful to the suffering living beings that they can expect, appears before them and renovates the principles of devotional service comprised of hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, cooperating, and surrendering unto him. Adoption of all the above-mentioned items, or any one of them, can help a conditioned soul to get out of the tangle of nescience and thus become liberated from all material sufferings created by the living being, illusioned by the external energy. This particular type of mercy is bestowed upon the living being by the Lord in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Om Ajnanatimandasya Chanansanasnaka Sakshan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chichitayamanopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeyam Shigo Shiyuda Padkamalam Shigun Vaishnavam Sham Shri Rupam Sagajatam Saganaranatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sabaitam Savdutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagalalita Shivishakam Vitam Sham Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandha Chatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gona Hira Devina Vaneshwara Vishabhani Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriya Pancha Kalpta Visha Kripa Sindhu Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Singhavadi Paskachai Tisota Srila Prabhupada Ki. Here Queen Kunti is offering prayers to Lord Krishna and she gives different reasons why the Lord appeared. They are all valid reasons. Text 34, she says, yeah, the Lord appeared because of Brahma, because Brahma prayed for Krishna because there was trouble in the universe. Kamsa and other mischiefs, Kshatriyas were exploiting their position and were ruling for their enjoyment and not to serve the people, not to do their dharma. And especially Bhumi, the earth, felt that trouble and she could not rectify it, so she went to Brahma and told Brahma, you help, please. And Brahma thought for a minute and said, yeah, but yeah, I cannot help because I don't know how to help. So we need the help from the Supreme Lord. So if Brahma is a problem that cannot be solved, Brahma and the demigods go to see Kshirodakashayi Vishnu at the Milk Ocean. And there they prayed to the Supreme Lord, they meditated. But among the demigods, Brahma was the only pure devotee. Well, there was also Narada, but not sure he was there. But Brahma meditated on the Supreme Lord. Kshirodakashayi Vishnu at the beach, out of the Milk Ocean. The Lord was far away. They could not see him in the ocean of milk, carried by on the bed of Anantashis, and he was slow to sweet massaged by Lakshmi. And Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who is also the super soul in every atom, in every soul, that instructed Brahma and said, I will soon descend, that I will appear in the Yadu dynasty. So tell the demigods all to take birth in this family of the dynasty of the Yadus, and so that they can assist me. So that is how Krishna appeared, and it says here, it's because of Brahma's prayers. Krishna appeared. But of course, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada refers to Brahma as unborn, or the one who appears from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And he was created from the lotus flower of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Prabhupada says in a lecture, without the botheration of a wife. And it is Lakshmi was there, but she was engaged in service. And Prabhupada makes the point here that atheists should hear that how the Lord can create without the help of a wife. So that means he's not an ordinary person. They have that idea, and the Lord is an ordinary person. So factually, the father and mother of Brahmaji is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And when in the Brahma Mohan Lila, when Brahma tested Krishna by taking away all the cowherd boys and the calves. And a second later, they were still there a moment, a truti. For Brahma, it was a truti. It's 1,680 of a second. And for us, that was a year. A truti for him is a year for us. But then after his truti, for a moment, he was thinking of testing Krishna. He saw all the cowherd boys were still there, but they were Vishnu forms, expansions of Krishna. And then he remembered what he had forgotten. Because Brahma, at the beginning of creation, before the creation, he did tapa, austerities in devotional service. And from that, Tene Brahma Hridaya Advikavayi Muyanti Achyurya. But then, at that moment, Krishna gave him the Vedas through the heart, the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, and then from which the Bhagavatam expanded. And in the Bhagavatam, the form of the Supreme Lord is described. This is in the 33rd chapter of the Bhagavatam. The transcendental form of the Lord is described. And this verse says, wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue carnicare flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and a Vayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with his marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his clothes. So that's a description of the Supreme Lord, which is in the Bhagavatam, and he received the Bhagavatam before the creation. So he knew Krishna was the Supreme Personality of God, but he forgot for a moment. He was thinking it's a cowherd boy. Is he the Supreme Lord? Yes, no, and he decided to test him. And that he forgot who Krishna was. In the Bhagavatam it said, Eti samskala pumsa Krishnastu bharavansva. Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. So Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is Lord Brahma's father and mother, that is Krishna. Krishna is the source, because Krishna is because Karpatakashaya Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. That, but Brahma forgot, and that's the problem. We also forgot our spiritual position and our Father. We are wandering to this material world, not knowing who we are, misidentifying with a body. That, but if we want to make spiritual advancement, that yeah, we must get out of this bodily concept of life. I was reading today the first chapters of the Bhajan Sahasra. This is a book written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur describing the process of devotional service according to Lord Chaitanya's Shikshastika, 8 verses. That, and there he writes, yeah, it is not wise to identify with the body. Because this body will soon fall dead and turn into ashes. So what's the use of identifying with the body? So we must give up this bodily concept of life. Why are we so attached to this bodily concept of life? Because of the sense gratification that the body can give. But that's for the body, that's not for the soul. We don't have any message from that. That we are attached because of anarthas. Anarthas are of many kinds. That anarthas, or attachment to things in this world, asat Krishna, the things in this world, we become attached. That, yeah, or we commit aparat, offenses, that, or the performance of sinful activities, the past sinful activities, and attachment to them. That so many anarthas. We need to give up these anarthas. These anarthas makes us also identify with the body. But when we again identify as the servant of the Supreme Lord, we recognize our Father. So Brahma recognized when he saw Krishna is my Father. That, so this is the first verse that we can learn from that. It's important to have knowledge about Krishna. We don't have sufficient knowledge about Krishna. We don't understand Krishna. We misunderstand Krishna. And by that, we cannot develop a proper relationship with Krishna. Proper relationship can develop when we know Krishna's position. That, and then automatically you serve Krishna. Therefore Krishna says, Janma karma samedivyam yome veti tatvata jaktvam punarjanma naiti mamiti sarana. If you know Krishna, his activities, pastimes, you don't take birth again. But it's not cheap to know Krishna. That in 1154 Krishna says, yes, you can know me, Arjuna, I'm standing before you only by Ananya Bhakti, pure devotional service. That in the next verse, he describes how to perform this Ananya Bhakti. It's a 5 a 5-element or 5-factor program. In this in 55, that you have to work for Krishna. You have to make him the goal of your life. You must be friendly to all living beings, all his part and parcels. You must give up mental speculation and perform pure devotional service just to please Krishna. So that's it. That's our sadhana and the mood in which we perform our sadhana. Now, in the next verse, 1:835, there, Queen Kunti said, another reason why you appear is for rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on. Then, because by doing that, the living entity can attain liberation. So that has already also been mentioned in the Bhagavatam in the 2nd canto. There is a verse that says, Bhavayati sasatvena lokam vai lokabhavana dilavataro nurato devatayana visho. Thus the Lord of the universes maintains all planets inhabited by the demigods, men and lower animals. Assuming the rules of incarnations, he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness. Those in the mode of pure goodness. So why are we in the bodily concept of life and cannot understand who we are? Because of passion and ignorance. We must be cleansed from that. How to do that? Every time in the beginning of the Bhagavatam we say Nastabe Sabatya So Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavatu Tamaske Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By rendering pure devotion service, by daily attending the classes, the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service, that all that is troublesome to the heart is nearly completely destroyed. What is troublesome to our heart? Exactly this mode of passion and ignorance. By devotional service that can be removed. Tato ajastamo by kamalopasya sitera taranavtam stitve sattva pasyaduti. And gradually, the modes of passion and ignorance are removed and one is situated in goodness. If you are in goodness, you can understand I'm not this body. Maybe not yet realized, but you can understand. The beginning of knowledge is there. And Krishna comes for those, to reclaim those in the mode of goodness who are interested in performing devotional service, who are in goodness. You see that also many times. To distribute a book. And who is interested? People interested in yoga, vegetarians, that it's all signs of goodness. They are interested. All those who are infected by passion and ignorance cannot understand anything and are not are in illusion. They think these devotees are wasting their time. They could enjoy life, enjoy their bodies until it falls down. That's the big illusion. But Krishna comes to reclaim those in the mode of goodness. the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, the 1st chapter, deals with that. There, Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Narada Muni, is the Supreme Lord, it seems the Supreme Lord is partial, because it takes the side of the demigods, and he seems to be again against the demons. And Narada Muni said, he said many things, but one of the things he said, the demons are more fortunate than the devotees, he said. Because Shishupal blasphemed the Lord more than 100 times. And Krishna cut off his head, and everyone could see that his soul went into Krishna, that he got liberation. It's so difficult to get liberation. And these demons get that for so easily. So how can you say that the Lord is partial? That He's also give his mercy to the demons, right? But of course, we know that who was Shishupal, and who was Dantavakra, giant Vijay from the spiritual world, who came on a mission in the material world on behalf of Lord Krishna. That were eternal associates of the Lord. But yes, this question is a deep question. And what is the answer? The Lord favors those in the mode of goodness. That's all. Every living entity has a choice to connect with the modes. How do we connect with the modes? With our consciousness, with our desires. You want to enjoy the body, you contact the mode of passion. If you want to reduce your consciousness to alcohol or other things, you contact the mode of ignorance. And if you develop the mode of goodness, then you become peaceful, you can understand what's the goal of life. You start to see things clear. And Krishna comes for those who are interested, those in the mode of goodness, to claim them and bring them back to the spiritual world. And especially in Kali Yuga is merciful. He goes further. He gives the holy name to everyone. But of course, it's said in the Bhagavatam, one who chants the holy name of the Lord. This is a verse in the 4th canto of the Bhagavatam that I think so. That one who performs devotional service has done, it's in the 3rd canto, I have it here. Yeah. 333:7. Oh, Batuspa Pachuto Karyam, Yachifa Vachtate Nama Tubyam. The Pusta Pustesha Vosas Nogaryam, Brahman Shonami Hinam. How glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, They must have bathed at holy place of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. So Lord Chaitanya gave the holy name freely, but those who accepted it, it said they have done all these austerities and penances in the Vedas and these sacrifices in previous lives. But who is more merciful than Lord Chaitanya? One of the devotees asked Prabhupada, and he quoted this verse, did we really do these sacrifices in previous lives? And Prabhupada said, don't worry about that, I did them for you. That means Prabhupada is more merciful. That's where the mercy comes from, through the Guru Parampara. But yes, it's also mentioned in Madhurya Kanambini, because it is mentioned in this verse, the Lord comes to acclaim those in the mode of goodness. But the pure devotee of the Lord, who is a preacher, the Lord empowers such devotees and they can decide to whom to give bhakti, to whom to give holy name. And that's the empowerment of the pure devotees. So that's the purpose, is to bring back, the Lord appears to bring back all the living entities to the spiritual world, to Goloka Vrindavan. But for those in passion and ignorance who don't want to accept this devotional service, the material world is hell. For the devotees, the material world is just a transitional situation, the path to go back to Godhead. So we have different vision of the material world. So this is Queen Kunti giving all these reasons which are true, that the Lord comes to reclaim those in the mode of goodness and wants to bring them back to the pose of hearing, remembering, and worship. Bhakti, the path of devotional service. And that's why Krishna really appears, because he performed these pastimes. We go back by hearing these pastimes. One of our acharyas said, yeah, Krishna came to perform these pastimes so that the devotee have something to talk about. Because we can speak about Krishna and remembering that, especially how I'm in Govardhan, Vrindavan, that so the spiritual atmosphere is very close by. That and by Prabhupada's mercy, we can remember all these pastimes. Krishna childhood pastimes lived in Govardhan. Soon we will become Kartik, and it's an occasion to swim in these pastimes. That we have our worldly duties, and we should our best to do them nice, but it's not the goal of our existence. Should not take it too serious. Serious is the hearing, the chanting, and remember of the Supreme Personality of God. So any comment or question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for nice lecture. Maharaj, if you don't mind, if you can repeat the 5 things, Maharaj, you mentioned what to do and the reference to it, like if you want to again read about it.
It's verse 1155 of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Mat karma kit mat paramo mat bhakta sanghavarchita nirvara sarvabhutesu yasamam iti pandava. So the first thing to do is mat karma kit. You must do work for Krishna. You do your work for Krishna internally. And that mat bhakta mat paramo. You must see Krishna as the goal of your life. Accept Krishna as the goal of your life. That's then Mad Bhakta, engage in devotional service. Do puja, different kinds of devotional service. And Sangha Varchita, give up all fruitive activities of mental speculation. The truth is in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, that's what we need. And then Nirvara Sarvabhutesu, become non-envious, without enemy. It means to be friendly to all living beings. Yeah, if you do these 5 things, yasamamiti panava, then you come to be Krishna centered. So that's these 5 things which you do, and these 5 things are explained in the purport that Prabhupada explained. Krishna karma. One can engage himself in cleansing the temple of Krishna. That is also Krishna karma. Constructing a very big building for Krishna is Krishna karma. And then of course devotional service, patram pushpam phalam doyam Krishna, he says, and then mat parama. Mat parama means I want to attain Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. That's Mat Parama. That's our goal. And we should only attract it to Krishna, and then we attain the spiritual sky. And then Sangha Varchita. One should disassociate himself from persons against Krishna. Sangha Tyaga Sadovite, also because Swami says. And the last thing is, one should perform pure devotional service. Anya Bilas Tasumyam. So, and then Prabhupada explains this verse of the principle of surrender in the beginning, accepting what's favorable, accepting what's unfavorable. And then a devotee is friendly to everyone, he says. He has no enemy. Why is this? A devotee in Krishna consciousness knows that only by devotion service to Krishna can relieve a person from all the problems of life. He has personal experience, and therefore he wants to introduce this system. So Prabhupada said, and being friendly to all living beings means giving them Krishna consciousness. Then they will be revealed that, and the expert devotee risks his life for that. And we give examples, Haridas Thakur, Jesus Christ, Prahlad Maharaj, and so on. That a Krishna conscious person knows that if a man is suffering, it's due to his forgetfulness of his relationship with Krishna. So that's all in the purport. These are the 5 things. If you have to give a Sunday lecture, is a very practical verse to explain how to practice Krishna consciousness. But of course, much more to say. Anything else? Good. then I'm looking forward to see you again next week. I will be still here. Will be nearly my last day here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada. We will